Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ring of Honor, and we are kicking the night off with Firebird versus Nigel McGuinness one-on-one. Nigel taking Firebird down to the mat with the arm lock. Firebird fighting to get back to his feet. Nigel takes him back down to the mat and backs him into the rope. Clean break. Nigel going for the chop. Firebird out of the way. Firebird gets his own chop. And another one to Nigel. Firebird with an overhead chop. And Nigel meets him with an arm drag, taking him down to the mat, center of the ring. Nigel now with a nasty submission with the arm trapped behind his back. Firebird gets to the ropes, gets his foot on the ropes. Nigel German suplex to Firebird and a knee to the midsection. Nigel McGuinness gets thrown by Firebird, comes back, and Nigel hangs Firebird's arm over the top rope. Big shot by Nigel McGuinness, and now stomping down Firebird. Firebird comes back with a chop to Nigel. Nigel with the headlock, but gets thrown back, suplex by Firebird. Nigel out on the apron to the top rope, goes for a drop kick, but gets caught by Firebird. Firebird turns around and catapults Nigel into the corner and rushes in with a clothesline in the corner, and then a lariat sends Nigel McGuinness inside out. Nigel pulls Firebird down into the pin, flips into the pin. All of Nigel's weight on the shoulders of Firebird, but Firebird gets out, picks Nigel up on his shoulder, and slams Nigel down to the mat. Firebird going to the top rope. Nigel meets him up there. And Nigel split leg. Throwing Firebird off the top rope. Firebird tries to come back, but eats a German suplex. Nigel misses the clothesline. Firebird gets arm whipped into the mat. Nigel flips through and rolls back. Going for another submission. No, he picks Firebird up. Suplex. Brainbuster, center of the ring by Nigel. Pulls Firebird back down to the mat. 2 count. Firebird kicks out. And Nigel picking Firebird up. Firebird escapes. But Nigel all over that arm of Firebird. Keeping pressure on Firebird and his arm. And Nigel drops Firebird down to the mat. Goes for a knee, but Firebird out of the way. And a big clothesline by Firebird takes down Nigel. Nigel comes out to the apron to meet Firebird and tugging at the arm, but Firebird pulls Nigel back in. Nigel catches Firebird, sidewalk slam, but Firebird tombstone to Nigel. Spinning tombstone slam by Firebird and a kick up into the knees into Nigel, but Nigel floats through into the double Boston Crab, and it is locked in center of the ring. Firebird powers out of the Boston Crab, goes for a head kick, but Nigel gets his head out of the way, picks Firebird up on his shoulder. Firebird turns it into a DDT. Firebird misses that clothesline, and Nigel beats him at the ropes and slams him down to the mat with his arm. Hammerlocked, comes back, and hammerlock submission to Firebird, and he's turned it into a Kimura. But Firebird powers out and slams Nigel down to the mat. Firebird up to the top rope, and he nails that flying headbutt. Nigel rolling out of the way, out on the apron. Firebird goes to meet him in the corner, but Firebird, the damage done to his arm. He keeps fighting and trips Nigel up on the top rope. And a big chop by Firebird to Nigel. And he's up on the top rope with Nigel on his shoulders. Nigel fighting out, and Firebird crouched on the top rope. That is nasty. Firebird, though, fights back. Death Valley driving Nigel down to the mat. Center of the ring. 2. And Firebird with a big win over Nigel here tonight. Great match. Nigel targeting the arm of Firebird, but Firebird kept coming back. Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Ring of Honor Wrestling. We are headlined by the main event, Johnny Mundo versus R-Truth for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. Starting the night off with a great match, Firebird, Nigel McGuinness, and we still have some great action before the main event.
I'll catch up with you
Is
later.
that Batista? Whoa, hey there, animal. Ronda, I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. So glad to have you on board the Ring of Honor roster. And I'm glad to crack heads along my way. The Animal Batista. Wow, Ronda, you really outdid yourself. Batista, whenever you want to further your career, give me a call. You can give Ted a call too, but I employ Ted. And y'all are both corrupt. Batista has signed his contract, and y'all should be congratulating Ronda. Yeah, y'all should all be congratulating each other on this and on that. Meanwhile, the wrestling god JBL doesn't have a match. And I see this big ass animal right here in front of me. And you know what, Batista? I'm challenging you. You want to challenge me? You got it. Making their way to the ring, Eve and Ivelisse. And here we go. This is in the Women's Championship Tournament. Eve and Ivelisse taking on Asuka and Julia. Haven't seen them tag before. Looking forward to it. Asuka makes her way to the ring. Eve super kicking Asuka onto that table. And now Ivelisse off the top rope, taking Asuka out through the table, flying across the air. And now out comes Julia. Even Ivelisse run away as Julia checks on her partner.
Let's go, Julia.
Looks like we're going to have a handicap match for the time being. Julia comes after the action. Ivelisse goes for a kick but gets caught. Julia pulls her out to the floor. And Eve crossbody out of the ring, but Julia body slams her onto her sister. And Julia moonsaulting, springing off the ropes, taking out both Eve and Ivelisse on the floor and throws Ivelisse back in the ring. Ivelisse comes with a knee to Julia. Julia on the apron. And Ivelisse kicks Julia off the apron to the floor. And Eve off the steps, diving on Julia. Suplex onto the knees of Ivelisse on the apron. Great double team work. And the referee, 2 count. Julia Price. Julia kicks out. And Ivelisse suplex to Julia. But Julia counters out. Picking Ivelisse up and slamming her down between her shoulder blades, and then a kick to Eve, the head of Eve sending her on the apron, and Julia drop kick to Ivelisse. Ivelisse goes for the kick. Julia with the leg whip, center of the ring, and then a knee to the back of the head. Eve up on the apron. Julia misses the clothesline. Eve tripping Julia into the kick of Ivelisse, but Julia able to power out. Big kicks to the back of the head by Ivelisse, pulls Julia back into her corner, makes the tag to Eve, and has got Julia up in the rope. Sunset flip by Ivelisse to Julia, head first to the top rope, and then Eve with a leg drop to the back of the head. What a double team move, and it's not enough to put Julia away. That was a devastating double team maneuver. Julia back to her feet. Tilt-a-World slamming Julia back to the mat. Tilt-a-World slam by Eve. And now Eve's got Julia wrapped. And this body lock Asuka with a kick to the head of Ivelisse, and back body drops her in to break it up. Asuka in, taking out Eve, taking out Ivelisse. And has got the Asuka lock in on Eve, but Eve throwing Asuka out onto the apron. Julia with a kick to the midsection and picking up Eve. Ivelisse pulling Eve off the shoulder of Julia. But Julia with a head kick to Ivelisse throws her into Asuka on the other side of the apron. Asuka pulling Ivelisse out onto the apron with an Asuka lock. My God, Asuka slamming Ivelisse into the steel steps off the apron. And that's it. Julia striking Viper off the top rope in a big win for Asuka and Julia. The winners, Asuka and Julia. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us for Ring of Honor, episode number 4. The first Ring of Honor World Championship title defense going down tonight. Making his way to the ring, representing Sky Team, Sky Kid. And his opponent, Justin Time. And a head kick by Sky Kid, and a second one as Justin Time flies in the ring. Sky Kid picks up Justin Time, turns him inside out and slams him down face first in the mat. And Sky Kid, well-known high flyer, showing off his strength there. Rolling up Justin Time rolls back, picks up Sky Kid, waist lock, German suplex. Sky Kid lands on his feet in the corner, trips Justin Time in the corner, rushing in, but Justin Time catches him in the other corner. Sky Kid trips Justin Time, goes for a shooting star press, Justin Time out of the way, rolls up Sky Kid, picks him up on his shoulder, burning hammer center of the ring, drops Sky Kid on the back of his head, but Sky Kid fighting back, springs up to the second rope, but gets cut off by Justin Time, where his speed has been compromised by Justin Time's hard-hitting offense. But that time, Sky Kid head scissoring Justin Time out of the apron, and a whisper in the wind to the apron, springing up, leapfrogging Justin Time out onto the other side of the ring on the apron, springs in, head scissoring Justin Time, springs up to the second rope, comes back, DDT, but gets caught by Justin Time. Justin Time sends him back. Sky Kid lands on his feet. The corner gets pulled to the center by Justin Time. Sky Kid tries to roll Justin Time up, but Justin Time drops down and kicks Sky Kid into the ropes. Diving elbow to the back between the shoulder blades of Sky Kid on the ropes, chops him back, but misses that dive in. And Sky Kid up to the top rope, flipping headbutt, and then at coast to coast drop kick, nails his target just in time. Powerbomb by Sky Kid, throwing just in time, seating him, and a shining wizard. I've never seen a sit down powerbomb like that before. Sky Kid gut wrenching Justin Time, but Justin Time counters out, and a backbreaker. Big time backbreaker. Sky Kid rushes in, calf kick to Justin Time, monkey flips. Justin Time lands on his feet and plunges back with a forearm to Sky Kid. Picks him up, big back suplex, folding Sky Kid in half. Justin Time stalking Sky Kid, picks him up on his shoulder and an electric chair into the ropes. Justin Time now going for the submission. Sky Kid gets to the rope before any damage is done in the Boston Crab. Justin Time stomping the hand of Sky Kid and pulls him back, snaps the leg, and then a big shot there by Just in Time. Goes for the knees, but gets caught, and Sky Kid catches him, puts him up on the top rope. Handstand and pulling Just in Time off. Just in Time flips off the top rope. Sky Kid springing up, inverted 450 splash. What a match here, Sky Kid. Now jumping out behind the crowd and climbing up above the first crowd onto the crowd in the second story row. And he is all the way up there. Just in Time threw the referee down and used him to catapult up. And he grabs Sky Kid and pulls him down, slamming him down to the mat. 30 feet in the air above the ring. Surprised Sky Kid didn't splat on the mat. And Just in Time is not done yet. An F5 Cyclone into the corner. Never seen a Cyclone into the corner, and that is it. Your winner, Just in Time. FTW Championship in Ring of Honor. Count me in. If you want to bring back the title that I retired, then I will retire whoever gets in my way and getting it back where it belongs. Hello, I'm Dwight Schrute and I'm here with Julia. Tonight we just showed a taste of what me and Asuka are capable of. And Asuka sneak attacked me before the match, and I will still show you that you're not ready for Asuka and Julia. Making his way to the ring, the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion, Johnny Mundo. The very first Ring of Honor World Champion in the rebranding is Johnny Mundo. Will it be a successful first defense for Johnny Mundo here tonight? And his challenger, R-Truth. And here we go, the lock up. Mundo takes the headlock of R-Truth and a headlock takeover by Johnny Mundo. R-Truth counters out Johnny Mundo. Fireman's carry to R-Truth. R-Truth gets to his feet and an arm drag to Johnny Mundo. R-Truth picking up Johnny Mundo and suplexes him gut first into the ropes and a leg drop. Springing off the second rope and catches him with a neck breaker coming down. Only a 1 count by referee Julia Price. R-Truth Hurricane Rana on the apron. Johnny Mundo cartwheels out. And a head kick by Johnny Mundo to R-Truth. Moonlight drive to the floor by Johnny Mundo to R-Truth. And the champion making a statement in the early goings that this is his championship. R-Truth countering out. And a fall-away slam to Johnny Mundo onto the stage ramp. Johnny Mundo comes in, slides in the apron into a Hurricane Rana to R-Truth. But Truth holds on to Johnny Mundo. Oh my God, sit down powerbomb onto the steel steps. R-Truth back in the ring. And springing flip onto the back of Johnny Mundo. Johnny Mundo caught between the steps and a flying R-Truth there, but comes back with a head kick to R-Truth. And Johnny Mundo climbing up the steel steps with R-Truth. My God, a flipping Spanish fly to R-Truth. Back first onto the apron. Julia Price checking on R-Truth. Johnny Mundo pulling him back in. And Johnny Mundo misses the end of the world. R-Truth out of the way. And R-Truth comes in. Johnny Mundo catches him. Power bomb. R-Truth Hurricane Run into Johnny Mundo. And R-Truth with an enziguri German suplex. Johnny Mundo lands on his feet, hits the ropes. R-Truth tries to trip Johnny Mundo. Johnny Mundo underneath the leapfrog of R-Truth. R-Truth goes for the arm drag. Johnny Mundo holds on, goes for that crossroads, but R-Truth spins out into the corner. R-Truth springs up and a back elbow taking out Johnny Mundo. And coming in with another big elbow. Hips up, Johnny Mundo on the back of R-Truth. R-Truth shrugs him off on the top rope. Johnny Mundo crotches R-Truth on the top rope. And Johnny Mundo going for that moonlight drive off the top rope, but R-Truth holds on to the top rope, out onto the apron. And R-Truth comes in, goes for that face buster, and he nails it. Johnny Mundo try to hold on to the ropes, but R-Truth, lie detector calf kick there. R-Truth coming for Johnny Mundo's World Championship, and he is taking his best shot. Johnny Mundo with a standing Spanish fly there is also doing his best to ward off every attack of R-Truth, and there is the end of the world. No, R-Truth kicks out of the end of the world. What will Johnny Mundo have to do to put away R-Truth? Truth to his feet, and a flipping kick to the back of the head of Johnny Mundo, sending Mundo inside out. And R-Truth suplex to Johnny Mundo. And face buster, sending him face and body first into the center of the ring. Scissor kick, center of the ring, and that is it. New champion, all of his weight on the shoulders of Mundo. Deep pin, but only a 2 count. Impressive kick out by Johnny Mundo. R-Truth going to the top rope. R-Truth making his way up. Johnny Mundo springing off the rope. Moonlight drive. Taking R-Truth center of the ring, driving him into the mat with his finisher, but R-Truth kicks out. Unbelievable will to become the world champion. R-Truth misses that head kick attempt. Johnny Mundo with a big forearm strike, chopped by R-Truth. Head kick by Johnny Mundo, trips R-Truth. Face first goes R-Truth, but R-Truth crucifix rolling Mundo up, but Mundo counters out. And R-Truth counters out into his own pin. Mundo slide out, and both competitors back to back. Hook arms. R-Truth tries to roll him into a pin, but Mundo rolls through, has the arm captured of R-Truth, and a leg lariat clothesline combination, knocking R-Truth lights out. End of the world, and Johnny Mundo will retain the world championship here tonight. And your winner, and still Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion, Johnny Mundo. Thank you for joining us here tonight for Ring of Honor, and we will see you next week. And we will see you this week for Desolation.